Well, I must admit to feeling a little anxious as we approach this next chapter in our study here, and we're going to be focusing on math anxiety. So we see this picture here of hearts and minds, and this is really crucial as we understand the role of math anxiety in our students. In the years that I've worked in adult ed and with the thousands of students that I've worked with, I discovered one fact very early, and that was until I won their hearts, in other words, helped them really have the belief that they could be successful with learning math, there was no way they could learn anything. So we worked really, really hard initially when a student would come in my class to really instill in them the belief that they could learn math and be successful in math. And we dealt with those anxious issues from the past. And once we did that, they could definitely be successful with learning math. So win that battle for the heart, the mind is going to follow. Looking at these desks, I'm wondering what's the connection between these desks and math anxiety. Boy, that desk that's got those papers all over it reminds me of a coworker, and I could tell some stories, but won't do that now. But at any rate, there is a connection between these desks and math anxiety. So what is it, you ask? Well, I like to think of an empty desk as the working memory of our brain. So if we have this very messy desk, that shows the effects of math anxiety. We're worried about our ability to do math. We're thinking about all those bad things that happened to us back in the day as we tried to do math. And all that's crowding into the space we need to successfully solve that problem. So the other desk shows a brain ready to learn. That shows someone who's dealt with these feelings of anxiety and is able to practice some strategies to get over them. That brain has the bandwidth that it needs, the cognitive power, if you will, in order to tackle that math problem. So we need to help our students clear their desks so they're ready to learn. Where does math anxiety come from? And some research has shown that we either have the Mr. or Mrs. Johnson effect. That really was one of the times that math anxiety first came. You may have had that evil math teacher that said, my way is the only way to do it, or yelled at you because you didn't get the problem right, or made you feel bad because you didn't memorize all your multiplication tables, or what have you. But you remember those teachers you had that made you feel badly and made you feel that you could not do math well. I know I have some teachers that, looking back, had that effect for me. So that Mr. Johnson effect, Mrs. Johnson effect is a very real one about creating those feelings of anxiousness. Another thing responsible for math anxiety is dad. We'll go with the family reason. A lot of times dad in the family was tasked with trying to help a young child to understand their math homework. And sometimes dad may not have gotten it either, or dad quickly got angry or frustrated because little Sally or Johnny or Demetrius or whoever didn't quite understand what was going on. So dad's blowing his tops and we're crying or whatever. And that's really triggering those feelings because we want to please dad, we want to do well, but if dad's blowing up, that's really defeating the whole purpose. So that could be a contributor for math anxiety as well. The unindicted co-conspirator, we can go back to elementary school and we can go back to fractions. Because after all, 3 out of 2 people have trouble with fractions. Showing that picture of my least favorite bank, the Fifth Third Bank, where improper fractions go to bank. Never quite understood why they decided to go with that name, but at any rate, fractions are definitely a time in which students lose their good feelings about doing math because a lot of times they don't understand fractions well, and that continues to their present life there. So a lot of times while they don't understand math, and another contributor to math anxiety is teaching abstractly. We start doing something like that problem there. We see 3 2/5 and 1 4/7, and we get all these weird things, and we don't really even know what you're talking about with 3 2/5, and we do all these weird, mysterious steps, and it's kind of crazy, and it works one time but doesn't work another, and leads to the way that young lady's feeling on our slide with, oh gosh, how did I get myself into this? So we'll certainly look at another section about a better way to teach, teaching more from a concrete representation and then moving toward the abstraction. But that abstract teaching certainly leads toward math anxiety. In our next section, we're going to get a chance to really see math anxiety in action. We're going to watch a 5-minute snippet of a game show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, where you'll see a contestant absolutely flip out when they're given a math problem. But the host, Regis, does something that I really want you to watch carefully. So it's an exciting 5 minutes, and keep what we've just been talking about in mind as you're watching, but really watch especially for when you see math anxiety strike and then what the host, Regis, does about it. Happy watching.